So welcome to tonight's episode of Real People. I'll be talking to Allyson Johnston later on, who's an artist. But first of all, a well-kent face, and that is the Reverend Ian Miller. Welcome, Ian.
Nice to be here, Paul.
Yes. I want to talk about your life a wee bit, obviously, but I want to concentrate on your writing at the end. You started off in Dumbarton.
Absolutely.
Across the Clyde.
Yes.
What brought you to the Vale?
There we are. People from Dumbarton are known as Habbies, after Habby Simpson, that's in the steeple. And I suppose brutally, when I began to look for a charge, in these days there was a lot of ministers, a lot of charges, and so you had to get your foot in. I wanted to live near Dumbarton, but nothing near Dumbarton was coming up. And eventually Bonhill came up, and I applied. But I never got a letter back, and I thought, forget about them. And in fact, it was Peter Houston, a Renton man, who was at Renfrew, who said, by the way, there's a crowd for Bonhill in to see you. I said, they needn't bother. I'm going to Kilbirnie. I had decided I would go to Kilbirnie.
Oh, so they're giving you an audition?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Come to hear me. So, but anyway, I was persuaded to come and meet them. And I met them in Bonhill Church Hall, and it was a drafty place. And I thought, I was quite bullish. And so I said, I'm only 30 at the time. I said, see, if I come here, my wife will not be the president of the Women's Guild. That's what all young wives were scared of. And this lady, with her fur coat, rose up, another graduate, and said, of course not. I'm the president of the Guild. I nearly kissed her, but I didn't.
Sorted.
And you know, I went back home and I said to Joan, I'm not going there, but the people were lovely, and they were. She came out the following day, unbeknown to me, and scoped the place with her pal, and again she came back and said, we met some folks, and they were really welcoming. Mm-hmm. And so it's the people that brought me here, and it's the people that's kept me here.
The people that's kept you here. Fantastic. I mean, you've been in Bonhill, you're in Bonhill Parish for a long time.
Yep, 37 years.
37 years, aye. And it was always, I mean, I went to St Mungo's across the river.
Yeah.
And you were always a well-attended church. And we were too for a while. But where numbers started to dwindle in places, you guys, you've kept a good core of people coming all the time. And we always used to look across and go, oh, how's he doing that? You know? But yeah, and I think I think obviously religion is very important, and people have their own perceptions of that. But I think people are important as well, and people have to get on with people. We had a lot of people in St Mungo's as well, but I think you're well known for certainly engaging with people locally.
Yeah. If you hit the nail on the head, it's people. Mm-hmm. And we're all in this together. And I think the days of the minister being up in the box and above everybody else, these days have gone. Mm-hmm. In fact, a minister who shall be nameless, well, he's the minister at Glasgow Cathedral, so he'll be well named. He said to me that one of his colleagues recently met with him and said, how did you manage to come to the cathedral when you're from Drumchapel? And that's still there in the church. Mm. There's a wee bit of elevation. Aye. No, it's the people, and we're all one together. We're all in it together. Church community. And
I think even at a funeral, I've seen you officiate these events, and there's always a wee bit of humour.
Must be.
You know, creeps into your sort of speech or your talk, and I think that's important as well. Locally, yes. People for the Vale in this area like a bit of a laugh.
Absolutely.
And I know that one of the people you used to enjoy watching was Ricky Fulton.
Oh, yeah.
And dare I say, late call?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us, you met Ricky one time?
Yeah, I did. In fact, it was at New Kilpatrick Church in Bearsden, and he was a member there. And I'd been asked to swap with the minister, and so I was up there, and I was preaching, big congregation, but as they made their way out, my goodness, here's this face in front of me. I was saying to him, will you sign my hymn book? I was gobsmacked. And that was Ricky. But he was quite a serious guy.
Aye.
But I've got to say, he actually stopped late call as it was. Aye. Because he was so good at it. And he had us to a T. Aye. You know, I mean, all he needed to do was to say, hello. what kind of day have you had? And everybody's gutting themselves. I mean, that's all he needed to say. It was brilliant.
Brilliant. I mean,
and we were hopeless.
Not at all. You were on late call.
Often.
Yeah. His version was called Last Call.
Last Call.
Yes,
Last Call.
Which was, but we used to all remember Hogmanay.
Yes.
Everybody was waiting for Ricky, you know. It was a part of a whole part of the Hogmanay. It was part of the whole procedure. But also your writing. Obviously you've had to write sermons and stuff.
Yes.
That's been ongoing through your whole career. Do you enjoy doing that?
I love it. This may sound strange. I particularly love it. And you know, you're changing all the time. The important thing is to communicate. And years ago, the minister would preach for half an hour. Today, dear goodness, we'd be dying in the pews. So it has all come about, and I'll give you a wee laugh. Because I'm helping out at Lomond just now, when COVID came in, the Church of Scotland said reduce the time of the services. So it was to half an hour. That meant much shorter sermon. And whenever we were allowed to increase it, the Kirk session, the governing body if you like, I said, do you think we should go back to the old hour service? And almost to a man and a woman, the heads went. Nobody said a word. And I said, should we maybe just review it now and again? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So it's still 30 minutes.
Still 30 minutes.
And I preach for 7 or 8 minutes, and that's a challenge. To say what you want to say, briefly, succinctly, and directly.
So you had to condense things a wee bit?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, it makes you...
So I'm still learning.
You're still learning. But talking about COVID, obviously horrendous times for people, but people did have the time to examine themselves and their surroundings a wee bit more as well. And you, in particular, turned to writing in a different way, not so much sermons, but you started to write a children's book.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right in what COVID did is, and Joan and I walked a lot and talked a lot. But as well, I realised with children not being at school, and I thought, in as much as their parents were probably driven daft, I would write for my 4 grandchildren a book, and it started off kind of section by section that maybe their parents would read every night, and it just grew like topsy, and it was great, and I loved it. And
it turned out to be this book here, which is...
It did indeed.
Which is the Knights of Pegasus.
Yes.
What was the name about then? Why that?
I have 4 grandchildren. The oldest, Ben, is mad in music. The next one plays for Partick Thistle Youth Academy. And the third one, Rowan, has a horse. Right. And that was the thing. I should say, no, I can't miss out the last one, Ben, Jake. But Rowan had a horse, and so the horse became the kind of centre of the story, because the horse could talk and the horse could fly, as, of course,
handy.
Can. She no longer has that horse, but bought another horse. And what's its name? Pegasus. You couldn't believe it.
Is it white?
I think it is.
When it rolls them up. It's no got wings that they can't talk.
Definitely doesn't. No, definitely not.
No, that was good. And I think there's a certain plant to do important in the book as well, is there not?
Yes. Manny Cato or something. It was a plant up at Ross Priory. Huge. It's like a big...
Oh, the big rhubarb things. Yeah. And they're like big, huge umbrellas.
They
actually go right back to dinosaur times.
They do indeed.
So they're really ancient plants.
So I kind of used that as... That was where the secret lay to cure COVID. Oh. And of course, there was a wee bit of biography as well, because eventually the horse flying took them up to Balmoral.
Right. Where you have actually been.
So I envisaged the scene of Her Majesty coming out, as she did. I mean, I think the last night I was there, she was out, and she said, you can just go into the castle. I said, can you find your way? I said, I think I might manage, but what about yourself, ma'am? And she said, well, I'll be fine. And at this moment, there was a horde of corgis coming out. And she
so this isn't the book, this is for real.
This is for real. Sorry, that's right. That is for real. And she talked her way into the darkness, and I thought, dear goodness, I hope there's people around looking after her. But But
what age would she have been then?
Oh, she would be, that was about years ago. She'd be in her 80s. Aye. But that was the scene that I brought into the book, because I could envisage the kids meeting up with Her Majesty and saying, we've got the secret that can cure COVID.
Fantastic. Which reminds me a wee bit of the BFG. Because remember, there's a bit there where the Meet the Queen, the wee girl meets the Queen.
That's right.
I think.
That's right, yes. Yes.
That's great. So listen, I have read this obviously, and it's a good wee read for kids. So where can you get it? Is it on Amazon and stuff?
I think it might be.
And I think you might have a few copies.
Yes, listen.
So
it's covered itself. So if anybody wants a copy, they get it with my blessing.
Really?
Aye.
Jings, that's amazing. So if you want a copy of this, maybe contact us, or we'll figure a way to do that and put it at the end of the show. So you know. That's great. Thanks.
I'll give you my email address and people can contact me, no problem.
So that's great, short and sweet, but I just wanted a wee insight into your writing and your life, and thanks very much, Ian, for coming on.
It's been a joy, and I wish this venture all the best.
Thanks again. So before we speak to Allyson Johnston, artist, here is a video from a great local band, Have Mercy, Las Vegas.
Yourself, boy, I drink to your good health. The more that I'm around you, I realize you're a scoundrel. You're out for yourself.
Girl, I saw you on the shelf. Clearly out for a good man's will. You can call it what you like, then I stutter on the mic. So impressed with yourself. Let's make sweet music before we're too old to abuse it. And the curtain comes down and it brushes on the ground, and we close our eyes. The boom step through, we're following it closely. Doing the boom step through, we're following it closely. Doing the boom step through, we're following it closely. And the devil lies in mostly when we get no hot and cozy. All you hear is lies, bit of frustration and a tainted pride. What will it take to just get along? A heartfelt chorus of your favorite song. We're doing the boom step through, we're following it closely. Doing the boom step through, we're following it closely. Doing the boom step closely, and the devil likes it mostly when we get hot and cozy. Patch up all the cracks that bled. I've never seen so much crimson red, pulling on the ground outside the lost and found like a spider web.
Sorry for taking you to a dark place.
Can't you tell with the smile on my face? I've given up on the human race, and we're falling apart the place. We're doing the boom step
And now for something completely different. You can 3 guesses what we're going to talk about just now. But this is Allyson Johnston, who's an artist from the area, and she paints all sorts of things. And we're going to talk about how Allyson got into painting and what she's doing now, etc. So Allyson, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And yeah, let's go back to, were you always painting as a kid and stuff like that?
No, well, I've always been creative, but I took art at school to higher level,
Right.
and then didn't really do anything else with it after that. And it wasn't till about 5 years ago that I picked up a brush again. Found myself at home. I was going through a bit of a stressful time, and I found that to be my therapy. And
So-
just to switch off and lose myself in the art was just get myself in the zone.
So you had
And
to
it
think
was-
about what you were doing at the minute rather than anything else?
Yeah, I just lost myself in the art, and it just everything else receded, which was ideal at the time and just what I needed.
Great. And I guess COVID, you had a lot of time as well in your hands to do things as well at that point.
Yes, I could immerse myself in it a lot more
Mhm.
during COVID. And at first, I was just playing about. Picked up an old pack of oils that I had been lying there for many decades, and surprisingly, they were still. Once I cut through the hard
The
bit,
hard bits.
yeah, they were still pliable and usable. So I've since added to my oil collection since then, obviously. But yeah, I find oil paints are the way for me to go. I've tried all different mediums, watercolours, acrylics, and they just don't do it for me. I don't
What's
get
the attraction of oil? Is it the quickness of it all, or the?
well, people are quite often shy away from oil paint because of they think they've got to layer it up and let it dry, and I don't. I just paint wet on wet, so I use it as if it's an acrylic and just keep layering it up, and I find it works for me, and I can power through a painting
Mhm.
without having to. A lot of people will do maybe 2 or 3 at a time, you know, let that bit dry while they're working on something else. That doesn't work for
So
me.
you
I've just got to focus on one
You like to get started and
painting,
finish it?
Start and finish it, yeah. So the medium works for me, and I enjoy just the versatility of oils.
So these paintings that are around us just now, maybe just talk us through a couple of them. This main one here, that's a view, is it the west coast somewhere?
Yeah, that's up from Lossiemouth
Lost
beach
me at
up
the
there.
top.
Yep.
Okay. And then what medium is that? Is that?
It's all oils.
It's all oil?
It's all oils that I use,
Okay.
and just in different ways.
Because in my head, I mean, you think of an oil paint and you think of the really old kind of, you know,
The masters.
Aye.
All
A
varnished.
ribbon or something like that. It's all varnished and it's all like really, but it can look all different ways in oil. You can do different things with it. So this one maybe isn't as layered as some of them.
Not really. I just work away at it, and usually I work a painting from the top down, just so that my hand's not getting in the way. But I'll go back and add more layers as it needs it, or touch things up as it needs it. But that's not too heavily oiled. Some of them are very highly textured, like this one here.
Yeah, this, I was going to look at this.
My preferred method is to use a palette knife, so and just trowel it on.
Is that used in a palette?
That's a brush,
Yeah, that one is, but this
and
is
this is a palette knife.
the whole thing. Is a palette knife.
Yes, the whole thing's done with a palette knife, so you can make it smooth or as textured as you want.
There's a lot of detail in the flower still, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but you can use a knife in different edges, different ways, and the more I use it, the more I find I'm more comfortable with it.
And as a palette, you get all different kind of palette knives.
Yeah, different shapes and things for different purposes, but I like how the oils, you can have it nice and thick. I love textured paint, so
Yep. And we've got a painting of yours or 2, I think.
yep.
And I think it was one a bit like this one we've got, is the tree I think we've got as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got one a bit like this, but you've got the gold in that one, Allyson.
Yes, this is gold leaf that I use, gold or silver leaf. I've been using a lot of that recently, either as highlights as it is here, in among the texture, or quite often I'll leave it here, you know, as part of the sunset, or different added interest bits on it.
So what's your favourite thing to paint then?
I like landscapes and seascapes, to be honest. This is ideal. I've done a lot of flowers and thistles,
And
trees.
you started selling your paintings. When did that start?
As I say, it started as a hobby, and it developed into a business where people liked what I was doing and wanted and were asking for what I was doing, asking for my work. Oh, can you paint this for me? Can you? And it just started from there. Started very gradually, and developed into a business. And then it's the hardest bits asking for money. It really is, especially when you're selling to friends and family. But you've got to try and get a business head on, which I'm no good at. I'm working on it, but I'm not good.
You got a website, Allyson? I've
got a website, yes. Allyson Johnston Art, and Instagram and Facebook, Allyson Johnston Art.
Okay. And people can go on there and see examples of what you do.
Yep,
and get an
my
example.
work's all there.
They'll get an idea of prices and stuff as well. So do you think you're going to keep painting? And
absolutely. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I've turned the spare room in my house into a studio, and that's my happy place.
Fantastic. And would you encourage anybody else to have a go at it, painting yourself?
Honestly, that's all you can do, is just pick up, try it. Try it, and the more you do it, the better you're getting at it, and your practice makes perfect, as
I've
they
never
say.
seen the wee guy with the curly hair and tail.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. Doing the paint along sort of thing, and you're, oh wow, this looks easy. But it's no easy, I don't think, is it? But
he makes it look very easy.
He does, aye. But I think he's still on the telly in different channels.
Yeah.
But you go to a club as well, don't you?
Yeah, I go to a wee art class, and it's really just, there's a real artist there, and it's just to give you, it's ideal to get a second opinion on things. And if I can be working away at a painting and you don't see the mistake, but if you get a second pair of eyes on it, just to point something out and just to tweak it, it's ideal. It really helps. Yeah. And plus it's a social thing as well. You're meeting other artists, you're, in the zone with them, and I really enjoy it.
So Allyson, do you ever get asked to paint specific things?
Very often. More and more of my work is commission based, which is people are bringing maybe a portrait, a photograph of their dog, or a photograph of their favourite scene, or a picture of the Ben or something, and ask me to replicate that from a photograph, and I quite often work like that. Yeah. And charge accordingly, size.
So this kind of size of painting here?
That's about $250.
Right, okay.
For that one. But I've recently been doing a whole lot of dog portraits, which I love doing dogs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've got some dogs yourself, of course.
I've got dogs myself. I've never painted my own dogs, I've painted everyone else's.
Right.
But yeah, dogs turn out quite well. I do enjoy doing them. Not people, not so much. I have done portraitures for people. I'm not so keen on that, but it can be done.
So if you have any pets out there you want?
Yeah, I love doing dogs. I've only done dogs. I've not tried cats or horses or anything yet, but
right. And do you do exhibitions or anything like that? Or?
Not yet. No, not yet. I'm hoping to get to that point. I maybe start with an open studio in my home, because I've got running out of wall space, so I really need to shift some things. So I'll maybe do an open studio this spring at home, and start from there.
Okay. Well, listen, Allyson, thanks for coming in and telling us about your art.
No problem.
And people want to know more about Allyson, Allyson Johnston Art.
Yes.
Google it, I suppose, and you'll get the website. And
yeah.
Thanks, Allyson, again.
No bother, thank you.
I just want to say thank you very much to Ian Miller and Allyson Johnston for being my guests tonight. Here is a video from a great local band, Have Mercy, Las Vegas. Thank you for watching.
He was born. He was born mid-April in a vale of Leithen. He was born mid-April in a vale of leaving balm, with a ukulele in his hand, and the nurses gathered round to see the sun go down. I believe this you could be the death of me. Death of me. Oh, the valley, the lovely valley, but the leaving flows. I'm too drunk to touch my nose or give a shit with the hair that grows. I believe this valley'll be the death of me. Take me different ways. She is batshit crazy cause I'm playing the ukulele with a kick drum and a glass of sweet rum. With a kick drum and a glass of sweet rum. If it wasn't for this kick drum and rum, if it wasn't for this kick drum and rum, I hope your good time lasts and your life is a blast. If it wasn't for this kick drum and rum. If it wasn't for this kick drum and rum, if it wasn't for this kick drum and rum, Mr. Bartender, please, you got me on my knees. I'm at the door and I'm begging you for more. Just one more night, yeah, I would surely like that if it wasn't for this kick drum and rum. One more time, Mr. Bartender, please, you got me on my knees. I'm at the door and I'm begging you for more. Just one more nightcap. I would surely like that if it wasn't for this kick drum and rum.